Welcome to this online training on developing a cross-border cooperation project. Cooperating across borders is about jointly bringing a positive change that has measurable results and an impact on society on both sides of the borders. On the way to developing your project proposal, you will have to go through analytical and design phases. There are 7 key steps to preparing a good project. Problem analysis, stakeholder analysis, objective analysis, strategy analysis, definition of the project intervention, integration of assumptions, and the formulation of indicators and their means of verification. Let's now take a look at the first step, the problem analysis. Problem analysis is the initial stage of project identification. Your project will address a common problem, such as cross-border pollution, or it may take advantage of a so far unseized opportunity, such as cross-border tourism development. In any case, you will have to analyze thoroughly the situation you want to improve through your project. First, you have to identify your key problem. Then, you need to understand all the causes and effects related to that problem. Most likely, you will not address all of these causes in your proposal. You will focus on where you can make a change, based on your and your partner's competence, but also on limitations in terms of time and money. However, you cannot ignore these other causes, as they will impact on the success of your project. We will come back to that later, when integrating assumptions. As you want to apply for support from a cross-border cooperation program, you will also need to check that your problem has a cross-border dimension related to one of the program priorities. Let's now see how our partners, Anna, Boris and Carla, carry out this problem analysis.
Hi, I'm Anna.
Hello, I'm Boris.
My name is Carla.
Our partners are concerned about the worsening environmental state of several water bodies on both sides of the border in the regions where they live. Together, the 3 decide that joint action is needed, but it is clear that the resources required for research, let alone carrying out actions to improve the situation, exceed the possibilities of their budgets. Our partners check the program website and they are confident that their problem fits within one of the program priorities. They also find out that the next call for proposal will be in 2 months.
All right, no time to lose. What do we need to do to solve the problem?
Well, first we need to raise people's awareness about the problem.
We also have to perform measurements in rivers and along the coast.
Now, wait a minute. You are rushing a little bit. Let's not jump to conclusions. First, get an overview of all the causes of your problem before you start looking for solutions. There are usually several ways to solve a problem.
Okay, so how do we start?
What is a really important problem we would like to solve?
Well, for example, we have a lack of equipment in the region to measure the levels of oxygen and nutrient pollution in our lakes and rivers.
Yes, indeed. We are facing the same problem.
Well, be careful here. Are you really sure that this is the problem? In its current form, this is an absent solution. The solution is already part of the problem, the missing or lacking measurement equipment. This way, you might disregard other solutions that are cheaper or easier to implement. You really need an open mind when brainstorming on problems. The trick is to ask, why is this a problem?
Okay, let's reformulate. So, why is it a problem that we don't have any measurement equipment?
That's easy. We more or less know the levels of oxygen and of the pollution in the water, but we are not able to monitor possible changes, nor to exchange data on it regularly between our regions to anticipate further problems.
Right, so maybe we could reformulate the problem as inability to monitor the levels of oxygen and nutrient pollution in water bodies.
That sounds right. So, we already have one problem, but is this the main problem that we are trying to solve?
No, I wouldn't say so.
I agree. The key problem is fish dying in our water bodies.
But it's not only fish, it is also plants and other animals.
Okay, so let's make it broader and say reduced biodiversity in our water bodies. We do have evidence of that, for instance, from our Ministry of the Environment and the counting exercises we did with our volunteers last year.
Yes, but we have no evidence that some species have disappeared yet. So we should rather write threaten biodiversity in our water bodies.
Okay, so this is the problem you would like to have an impact on in the end. Now try to brainstorm all possible causes of this problem.
Well, I suppose that the main reason for our problem is that excess nutrients coming off the land, reaching our water bodies through rivers and streams, lead to a lot of algae growth, which in turn causes water plants to die, leaving bacteria to do more work in decomposition, with lower oxygen levels as a result.
And some of these algae also produce toxins, which poison the fish and other animals.
This is all true, of course. But do we really need to go into that much technical detail?
Yes, you are right. Let's focus on a limited number of our most important causes and not get lost in too much technical detail.
Okay, let's then formulate the key problem at the origin of threatened biodiversity in our water bodies like this. High concentration of nutrients coming off the land, reaching the water bodies, leading to harmful algal bloom. This is really the key problem we should try to solve.
Now, wait a minute. You're trying to put too much information into the formulation of just one problem. You can tell by paying attention to phrases like as a result of, because of, leading to. It is important to state only one problem at the time during the stage of problem analysis to clarify all the causal relationships.
Okay, so we have high level of nutrients reaching water bodies in runoff and harmful algal bloom.
Okay, now I think the most important is to talk about what causes the high concentrations of nutrients.
Yes, indeed. First of all, I am quite frustrated by the farmers who just don't care and use way too much fertilizer on their lands. I fear it is getting worse because of a number of bad years.
I agree. Let's write it up.
Not so fast. Try to formulate problems based on facts instead of accusations or fears. It is most beneficial when you try to understand why certain stakeholders act like they do.
Okay, let's make it less subjective and just state farmers using too much fertilizer.
Our partners get the hang of it and formulate some more problems, concentrating on the most important ones. Then they put this all into perspective by establishing a hierarchy of causes and effects and by building a so-called problem tree. Our partners have already thought about cause and effect relationships during problem formulation, which makes it easier.
Inability to monitor the levels of oxygen and nutrient pollution in water bodies.
Low awareness among farmers, property owners, and officials of causes and effects of eutrophication.
Farmers' inability to estimate the need for more fertilizer. Farmers using too much fertilizer.
Vegetation on lake and river shores intercepting nutrients runoff being removed by property owners.
Ineffective sewage and wastewater treatment systems. Weak enforcement of laws and regulations on nutrient runoff.
High level of nutrients reaching water bodies in runoff. Harmful algal bloom. Threatened biodiversity in water bodies.
Our partners now have a first clear overview of the causal relations. With the problem tree in hand, our partners now try to get evidence for their own impression of these problems. For instance, they do a thorough internet search to find scientific studies or other publications that might support or refute their own ideas. They also plan meetings with scientists and other stakeholders, mainly from the environmental and agricultural fields. They discuss alternative causes for high levels of nutrients in runoff, such as crop specifics and geological factors. Let's now watch our next video on stakeholder analysis, which is the next step in project development.